Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. A household name of a website, the 5th most visited webpage in the world, and the topic of today's session. The non-profit organization behind it, the Wikimedia Foundation, has a noble goal: for it to become the sum of all humanity's knowledge. But they are not the first to try to achieve this feat. As most things, it stands on the shoulders of proverbial giants, with many encyclopedias, digital or otherwise, coming before it. So, before we dive into the ins and outs of Wikipedia itself, we need to establish some groundwork. Here is some context: the history of the encyclopedia from A as in ancient Greece to W as in, well, Wikipedia. Let's go! The need to summarize all of humanity's knowledge is certainly not new. The word encyclopedia comes from the classic Greek, meaning rounded education, and Pliny the Elder is often cited as the creator of the first encyclopedia, trying to summarize all knowledge of natural sciences in his Naturalis Historia, a 37-part book released 77 after Christus. Its strength were its citing of references of original authors and indexes. Its weaknesses, the absolute lack of verification of most of them. According to Pliny's book, the most effective way to heal a fever is to observe a yellow bird. So, keep that in mind when the immune response to your vaccination kicks in. In contrast, the Chinese Yongle Encyclopedia of 1403 was far more ambitious. Over 2,000 scholars wrote 22,937 manuscript rolls or chapters in 11,095 volumes. Let those numbers sink in for a moment. Sadly, its sheer size, and the fact that it was entirely handwritten, made it costly to produce, and only a fraction of the entries survived to modern times. Still, it held the title of the biggest general encyclopedia for exactly 600 years, until it was surpassed by Wikipedia in 2007. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. The first attempt at a widely distributed, mass-printed general encyclopedia arose in the middle of the 18th century, with Diderot's Encyclopaedia, published in France in 1751, and of course, its more prominent and more long-lived competitor, the Encyclopaedia Britannica. Published in weekly installments on a subscription basis and later in multiple book editions, its printed version ran from 1768 to 2010, 244 years. Its last edition, from 2010, contained 32 books and cost a comfortable $2,000. Yes, you heard that right. There were similar projects in other countries. Anyone here remember the Brockhaus? But they similarly fell out of fashion, overshadowed by a more accessible and far less costly alternative: digital wikis. The story of the first digital wiki actually starts with the Encyclopaedia Britannica as well, and its refusal to work with Microsoft, which approached the company with the idea of developing a disk-based version of the book series. After they declined and decided on creating a program for themselves, Microsoft set out on their own, and in 1993, Microsoft Encarta was born. First sold in DVD and CD-ROM format for a solid price of $99, it soon moved to the World Wide Web, accessible over login and a paid subscription service. Amassing over 62,000 articles, it eventually shut down in 2009. Its demise is often accredited to the rise of an even less costly alternative: the free online encyclopedia. 1993, the year that Encarta was born, hacking legend and tech whiz Rick Gates proposed a for the time radical idea: Interpedia, a free online wiki run exclusively by volunteers on a non-profit basis that everyone could edit. Sadly, the project never made it out of the planning stage, but it set the notion rolling, inspired Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger, working for the media company Bomis, to found and launch Nupedia in early 2000. The idea behind Nupedia was grandiose: create an online encyclopedia written and edited by the experts in their respective fields, run exclusively by volunteers and kept neutral and verified in a rigorous review system. To give you an idea of how rigorous exactly, here is a quick rundown on how to publish an article on the platform. First of all, you had to hold at least a PhD related to the topic to be allowed to submit an article. Then a lead reviewer would be responsible to ensure the article was up to standards, upon which it was open for peer review. Then the lead copy editor chose 2 copy editors to edit for readability and grammar, followed by an open copy edit by the community, with the lead copy editor answering questions and the author approving of changes. Finally, the editorial staff would make final layout changes and Sanger himself would publish the article. The first article, Atonality, written by Christoph Hust, was roughly 100 words long and contained 14 footnotes, 27 references, and a discography. They published 12 articles in the first year. Obviously, the situation was untenable. Larry Sanger and Jimmy Wales, still working for Bomis, proposed the following solution: an additional wiki supplementing Nupedia, where everyone could edit the articles, with low maintenance and simple format. Many editors of Nupedia rejected the idea, claiming that such contributions from the wider public would water down the quality of the website. Therefore, the decision was made to launch it as a separate wiki, with the fitting name Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. The first published article on the website, on January 15, 2001, read Hello World. And Hello World indeed. When Nupedia failed in volume, Wikipedia delivered, with the 1,000th article published in the first month. After a single year, it were over 20,000. Celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, its goal is as noble as ambitious: to become the sum of all human knowledge. Well, good luck with that.